Okay, thanks everyone for joining. So this is part 3 of the session. Thanks to Kaja for organizing it. There's a lot of work in the background for all this to happen. So we covered as a whole, we want to completely cover everything about infrastructure as code. What is it? What are the tools? How do we do it? So it's a series of 7 to 8 sessions maybe. This is like the third session and this will be the last one for Ansible. And then we will also touch base on we will also cover Packer and Terraform and then end-to-end use cases. Once that is done, we can then discuss if you want to do anything specific to AWS, if you want to learn tools that are specific to AWS like CloudFormation or like Azure Resource Manager, I think we can cover them depending on the interest. We can cover them. Yeah. So I'll do a little recap. A few of them mentioned that they are joined for the first time. I thought it's like a basic recap, but I'll try to be a little more detailed, spend some time there. And then last week, I touched upon Ansible structure. What should be the Ansible structure? Why is it organized that way? So we will go into a little more details into that Ansible structure. And last week, there are also questions on operating systems. I'll explain on how we do that on different, how we can run Ansible on different operating systems, how we can. And then a little bit like Ansible is like all configuration management tool, right? You will configure servers, you connect to AWS, all the cloud and all. So you need complete password management, secret management there, a very secure thing. So Ansible has Vault. I'll talk about Vault and how we can secure passwords and all. So I talked about host file and how we maintain all the hosts and passwords there. I'll talk about it in detail and then how we can deploy containers, like whether it's an EC2 or a Docker container. The basic examples we can go through. We can do a lot of things here. Anything here, whether it's a VMs or anything we can maintain. I mean, we can deploy using Ansible. And then Ansible Galaxy, which is like a resource for all the projects from anyone can contribute. It's like a hub for Ansible. Okay, so a recap. I thought only I thought of not spending a lot of time, but I'll spend now a little more time here. So it's like a simple IT automation tool, right? Ansible, it's a configuration management tool. Previously, how we used to do was we used to use shell scripts, any kind of scripting, like all the configuration management. If you want to deploy something automatically, deploy a server, deploy a machine, you just call their APIs and use some of the scripting languages to do. That's how it used to be. And I'm sure 90% of all the things are still in scripting and all the deployment configuration. So this is completely changes the game. I talked about all of them, but I will touch about why Ansible, why is it, why should we consider this instead of any other tool. So this is the architecture. Ansible is uses playbooks to deploy things, uses playbooks for the automation. So they are written in YAML format. YAML is another markup language. That's the language it uses. Very, very, very simple syntax. It's much simpler than JSON or XML. So if you are not aware, just go through it. It just takes few hours to understand. All you need to know is basic. You don't need every detail. Only 3-4 things that you need to start with Ansible. Yeah, and it's agentless. You don't need agents, so that's the power of Ansible. So you should have one server where you have the playbooks, and it can connect to all the remote everything. Like you have 100 machines in your network, it can connect to all of them. You just need to maintain the list. It connects, and it can run your place or modules. And Ansible is declarative. That's the power of Ansible. You don't like shell script what you do, or like other scripting languages. You say, go and install something, start something. Here it's, you declare the end state. You say started. Like when you want to make sure that you have Tomcat started, you just say started, and it makes sure if it started, it doesn't touch anything. If it's not started, it just goes and installs and starts it. So it, you give the end state for Ansible, and it's just one line, 2 lines. That's all. That's the power of Ansible. I can show the basic scripts again. I showed all of them in the first 2 sessions, so I can go through them again, like the basics of how we write the script and all. Uses SSH to connect to the server, so don't need anything. And you need a Unix server, so that's the requirement. Ansible, there should be one server. The host can be anything, any operating system or host, but the server should be a Unix machine. So we'll talk about that. Anything else? So everything is like.
Can it be a VM, that local machine?
Yeah. We have it everything on the VM. So
Okay.
We have our servers on the VM. We have our remote hosts as VMs, or like anything. It can be our local machine. It can be Amazon instance, a Docker instance, anything remote thing. The server should be a Unix machine. It can be VM or anything. So I am using VM that I will show you. So that's the basic. You can go through them. If you have any questions, talk to you can contact me. I have placed the samples in my GitHub repository. If you want to play with them, I can show you that. That also. This is the GitHub repository where you can find today's samples. Also, I will place them here. If you want to just go through them, I started from basic and then I went to advanced. So you can look at them, and you can play with them, download, play with them. Where is my chat window? Okay, I'll send it across. I'm not able to. Okay, I found it. That's my. So installation. So if you want to say like, okay, I don't have a Unix machine, but I want to learn Ansible, there are ways to do it on a Windows that I will show you a bit. So you can install Cygwin, and you can do it, or you can have a Vagrant box. You can create a Vagrant box with a Linux OS within the Windows environment, and you can start using it. Or Windows now provides Windows subsystem for Linux. So this is like Microsoft already, I think starting Windows 10 or so, you can create a Linux system within Windows. So you can use that if you want to try it out. On Linux, it's straightforward. You can use any of the package managers, either M or pip or apt-get is like in Ubuntu. So you can use any of the package managers to install and start with it. Only on the server. Server needs Ansible. In Mac OS, it's brew command. If that's the package manager, brew install Ansible. If you want like Windows as a host, you need like PowerShell installed. PowerShell is again, it's like a scripting language from Microsoft. Very, very powerful. Kind of Ansible. I didn't try very detailed, so I can't give you every detail, but it's very, very powerful, more than a scripting thing. You need that PowerShell and not .NET 4. So I can show you a bit, and to configure Windows as Ansible host, there are like documents from Ansible, you can go to the documents to understand like how to configure. It's there are like a lot of steps there. Initially, it might irritate you a bit, but ultimately it will work. It will work. So this is how you install. I'll just show you like how if I want, like if you want to do it on install on Windows. Sorry. So this is my PowerShell, and I already installed Vagrant box. I can show you. So I already installed Vagrant, but if you want to install, you just have to say like I talked about package managers, right? On Windows, Chocolate is the popular package manager. So if I say Chocolate install, Choco install Vagrant, it just goes and installs it. I should have the latest. I don't know why it's again going there. Yeah, so Chocolate is the package manager. So if you have worked on package managers before, so I use Chocolatey. There might be other things. On Linux, I use Yum. That's what I'm used to. On Ubuntu, I use apt-get. There are like other ones, RPMs and all. So once you install Vagrant, you can directly download a container, like add a Vagrant box. So to add a Vagrant box, it's just like command. Sorry. Can make it little. Yeah, to install a Vagrant box, you just have to say Vagrant box add CentOS/7. Vagrant box is like a container. It's just like a Docker container. It gives you a container with the operating system you want, and you can work on it. You can export it. You can use it anywhere. So that's Vagrant. If you say Vagrant box add, it just adds a CentOS container in your Windows system. Then you can SSH to that box and you can work. It's like a Unix environment, and you can work on it. So for example, I have like 2 Vagrant boxes here, and to manage them, I have a Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager through which I can manage these boxes. Since I have one CentOS already, I don't want to install it again, but I can install Ubuntu or any other box. I just have to say Vagrant box add Ubuntu slash. If I just do this, what it does. Okay, somehow I also tried Ubuntu before, so it says it's already exists. So I have to just remove it first and then add it again. So it just creates. If you say Vagrant box add, it will create, and then you just have to say Vagrant init. Let me see if it works. Ubuntu before initializes the Vagrant box, and then you say Vagrant up. It brings the, so now I have a CentOS and I'm like, I have another Ubuntu box. So I can start it from there or I can start it from here. So I'm just starting my CentOS box. See, the Ubuntu box just came in. Whatever I created here, it just came in. Now I can manage this Ubuntu box. Yeah, it's bringing it up. I don't want this window now. So this is my CentOS box. I'm starting it now. From here, I can do it. I can do it from command line. Vagrant is the default thing. Username, password when you do it, and it just logs in. Now I should have Ansible here. If you want, if you say like, I don't have a Unix machine, this is how you can do. But I want to learn Ansible, this is how you can do. It's also interesting, all those concepts, adding vagrant boxes, containers, how do you manage them on Windows? If you want to try them also, that's very interesting things here. So now I can create a Ansible file. If I want to, I can create an Ansible file here, and I can run those files. Yeah. Maybe we can do this. If I start from here, it's like, it's not straightforward, not so straightforward. You should start from command line. Like vi.yaml. I can create a YAML file, just say host is host is localhost. Connection is localhost. I just add a small task and then I just say hello to say, just to see that if it works. On a vagrant box. Okay. Playbook. .yaml, right? So there is an error. Usually that's to do with spaces. We can debug it later. It's just some space issue. Should be. So that's my vagrant box. To work on Windows, this is how we should do. And you can start, stop, manage from here. You can run a you can create a box, just use saying like vagrant box add command. You can create your own boxes and then you can work on Windows. Unix, it's straightforward. I always, like I showed you, I have a, I'm connecting to my Unix machine using PuTTY. This is my Unix machine where I showed you like all the tests and all, like how to run a script. This is my simple script on Unix, where like I'll specify, I have a host file, like I'll show you host underscore dummy. This is my host file where I will list all my hosts. This is my group, servers group, and I can list my hosts, and I will provide my connection details, and I can like directly run on all these scripts. Unix is straightforward. Windows is like little workarounds you have to do if you want to definitely work on them. Okay, that's on the install part. So in the last session, I did a little introduction of how the Ansible structure should be. We went through basic things, how you can run. Like if you want to, in the session one, we created simple scripts. Like what my first Ansible script does is, it just like connects to all the machines that are listed in the servers group. And then it makes sure HTTP is the Apache server, the HTTP server is running, it's their latest, and it makes sure it's running. So I said like declarative, right? I say latest, that's all. I'm not saying install or do anything. So if it's latest, it won't touch anything. If it's not latest, it goes and gets it. using the YAML module. These are the modules. But in the tasks, I will have different modules. This is like a play, and you can have a playbook at the top level. So that's the Ansible thing, and I can just go ahead and run this. So for whoever that didn't attend the first few sessions, if I just say Ansible playbook, first Ansible script.yaml, it goes, connects to the machine, and yeah, it just said, okay, okay, okay means I went there, I saw that Apache, you have the latest HTTP server, so I didn't do anything. And I checked if it's running, I didn't do anything. So that's the power. I didn't say anything, I just say started and running. So if you see here, this is my machine where I'm installing things. ps-ef grep httpd. So it's running, right? So that's why it didn't do anything. I can say httpd stop. Now no httpd is running. If I do this again, but I have the server there, so it says okay here. It just changed here, right? Because it started. It's not in the started state, so it changed the state. But the server is available, so it says okay. I can remove the HTTPD and then it goes ahead and installs. If I run the same command, if I run the same script here now HTTP is not there, so it goes and gets the latest and installs it. So it does all the check-ins. I showed the power of in the scripts, how it does it. The script is already there, it doesn't copy. If the script is different, it copies. Now it says changed because it's not there, so it went ahead and installed. So that's the power of Ansible. It just, I did only one line.
One question, Srinivas.
Yeah, Satish.
So you said it's an agentless, right? So
Yes.
do we require any permission on that the end machine? Because on what basis it will install the new software?
It just connects through SSH. So if you can access that machine from this host, that's all it's need. It does everything through SSH. And if you can SSH through to the remote machine from here, you are all good. You don't have to do anything. That's all. Okay, and this is like basic scripts on how you write it, but Ansible suggests a structure. That's what I did a little introduction in the last session. This is the structure that that Ansible suggests. At the top level, you have a playbook. So you can say I have like, I want to maintain my whole infrastructure. I have web servers, DB servers. So you'll have a high level site.yaml, which is the top level master playbook. And then for each type of servers you can have, or each operating system you can have playbook, sorry. So example is web servers.yaml, DB servers.yaml. And then each of this will have play. Each of these playbook will have plays, which is nothing but roles and plays actually. So this is the structure. The tasks will have like a main file, main.yaml, which includes all the modules that you want, and it can call other things. And all the variables are stored in variable files. All the default things are stored in default. All the files that you want to refer are stored in files folder, templates in templates. So it has a structure. So it's very clean, and it automatically knows if it needs a file, it first goes and searches for here. If it's not, then the other places. Same thing with variables. Same thing with defaults. So we can try that out and see like how the whole structure thing works. If it will help. So just we can look at like how the structure, we can create the whole structure. So here I don't have anything. So I'll create like something called web servers. I'll say. Okay, I'll go into web servers, and I need a one role for like all web servers, right? So the command is Ansible Galaxy init. You can manually create all the folder structure, but Galaxy gives me a structure. I'll say W servers. Okay. So if I see the structure of it, exactly whatever we talked about, that structure was created, right? Whatever the structure is maintained. And it creates like sample files, just the sample files, and you can start working on this. As long as the file name is main.ml, you don't have to specify anything. It knows like how to call it, how to pull things, and all that. So you don't have to do anything. So I can go to, now I'm here in the web server, W servers, I have tasks, W server, tasks. So it just creates a empty file. It doesn't do anything. It just creates an empty file, and you can start writing your tasks here. So I have a, so we can just put a small one like whatever we have before, like HTTPD start. I can have the task. To type thing, so I'll just paste. This task is like just make sure HTTPD is present. That's all. Right now I have a task here. A task. I have a module there. I have created a task to start HTTPD. But before that, we can also create some variables. So this is my variable file, right? I will just create I don't need a small one variable saying insert my name colon Srinivas. I just created a variable here, my name variable. Okay, this is variable folder. I also have a defaults folder, right? I'll also create, oh, I should have done it differently. My name is, this is default, right? I will say default name. So in the default folder, I have a variable called my name, which is default name. And in a variable folder, I have a variable name, which is var Srinivas. So this is variable thing. So if the name is same, if you look at it, the variable name is my name, but the value is different. So here it's default name in default and var Srinivas in variables. Right? Now in the task, let's go and I'll before this, I'll just print a name. Debug is the module. That's the module. Those like task and task will have modules as debug. Debug is just to print something. So is the right. So let's see what it does. I'll leave the next one, second one here, or let's delete it for now. Okay. So I have tasks, I have declared variables, two kinds of variables, defaults and variables. I am here, so now I need to create a playbook at the top, right? To call this play. It's at this level. Um, let's create a dot web. Let me web server. So what I did here was I created a main playbook where I'm saying my role is W server. That's all I'm saying. So what it does is it looks for a web servers W servers folder, it goes inside it, it looks for a task folder, and in that main.yaml, and it executes. In the main.yaml, we just have one statement to print, right? And that refers to, it says like print my name. That's all, right? So this should work. Let's see. Ansible playbook main play. Okay. It says where Srinivas. It printed from variables, not from defaults. Right? So I didn't do anything. I just said this is the rules. Like this, I can create 100 rows, app servers, databases, and I just give the name. And I can have like similarly, I can create app servers for this is my role, and I can create a tree structure, and it knows like, and then I can like write it like where do I want to install things? Is it web server? Is it I can pick and install? I can do it. So you can arrange however you want with very like 1 hour, few hours. You can do everything. You can manage your servers very easily. So what it does now is it went into W servers task and it printed this one, right? So, but I have my name in variables file. I have my name in defaults. So there is a lot of preference on how it picks. So if it's like, if you provide it in command line, that's the first place it will see. If not, variables file. If not, defaults, if it can't find anywhere. So that's the precedence. You just have to understand the precedence to use. So if you say like it's not available anywhere, then it will go to finally, it will go to defaults. Since it's available in variables, it didn't go to defaults. I can comment out variables thing and then it goes to defaults to find it. I just commented out this one. If you now go and run it, it should print the diff Srinivas or default Srinivas, right? Yeah, default name. So there's a hierarchy why each folder has like a specific use. So you need to understand when you are like maintaining your variables, or the whole structure. How you should put it in a. You should use the structure properly so that anyone can reuse your modules, your plays, playbooks. They can be reusable. So that's why it has specific structure. I don't have to search. If you're writing in shell script, other things, you prefer your folder structure. And when I joined the company, I don't know what you are using, how you do it. I have to do the search and you have to tell me. If you follow the structure here, Ansible, you don't have to. So we talked about handlers. Handlers are like event handlers in Java. So you can have tasks here and you can put handlers here. When some task happens, notify a handler. So we can also show this, but it's like we showed it in the previous one of the session. You can go there and divide the script and move the handler to handler file and task to task file. And then it automatically knows for handlers where to search. And similarly, files also. If I am referring some file, I can also copy. Show. I have in session 1, I showed like how to copy a script and all, right? If I want to copy scripts and if I have scripts, I can put it in files and it knows where to find. I don't have to give the paths and all. So that's the files folder. So as exercise, you can go to session 1. I want to do it, but I'm like just looking at the time. We have a lot of other topics. Here I have like run a script, right? And I kept the script directly here. So it knows. And now if I keep that in files, it knows I don't have to specify the paths and all. And it picks that file and it just copies it. What I said was source is this, destination is this. I don't have to give the source if it's in files directly. So that's the power of the whole structure thing. You just play around and you understand it. It's like very, very nice as you play around this. Okay. Any questions? Like if you are not able to, if you're not able to hear me anything, you have to let me know. I'll speak little.
Only one question, Srinivas. So there was another command you executed, some Ansible Galaxy. Is that something comes along with the Ansible itself, or?
No, I'll talk about Ansible Galaxy. Just like a set of, it's a repository. Think of okay. Like how you have repository for all the things. Everyone has a repository, right? Docker Hub is Docker repository.
Okay.
Similarly, Ansible Galaxy, you can go and contribute if you have something in the repository. I'll talk about it towards the end.
Okay.
So the secret management, Ansible Vault is like comes with Ansible. It encrypts all your passwords. That's the secret management. I have a host file. I am not showing you my host file because all the time because I have my passwords here. This is actually my host file. So during the session, I'm only showing you host dummy or host variables or other things because this has my password. I don't have to do it. I can just encrypt the host file and I can use it. Anything I can encrypt. So Ansible Vault is for encrypting. It uses AES 256, like you cannot break the passwords. So it's very, very, very secure. You can encrypt a string, a file, and you can use that another password to decrypt. So these are basically the commands. If you want to create an encrypted file, you can say Ansible Vault create pass.yaml and it creates an encrypted file. Everything in there is like encrypted. You cannot see until you provide a master password. We'll talk about each one, which I'll show you. If you want to just encrypt one string, Ansible Vault encrypt string, this is the string I want to encrypt, and I refer this string as my name. And then we'll see one by one so that I have the script. So let me see what I have in encrypt string. Okay, so in the encrypt string, directly I have my name as Srinivas, nothing encrypted, and I'm saying print my name. It's a normal plain thing. If I do Ansible playbook, encrypting, it just prints my thing. It's all plain text, so it doesn't do anything. It just prints it, saying my name is Srinivas. Now let's encrypt this string using this command, Ansible Vault. encrypt string was, so I refer this as my name. Okay. So I have to give a password whenever I encrypt. I'm giving the password as I'll talk about that. I'm giving the password as Ansible, ANSIB. So now it gave me an encrypted string. So this is my value. You can just copy this, copy VI, and will delete this line. And I pasted this, right? This is my encrypted string. Let's run the same thing and see what happens. So I'm running this playbook. It failed saying attempting to decrypt but no vault secret found. You cannot run this because it has an encrypted string. And unless you give the password, you cannot run this. So how you can run this now is Ansible playbook. This is one way. You give the thing and say like minus minus ask vault pass. And it asks for my password. Ansible is my password. So now it can decrypt and it can print this. Because you're printing, if you're not printing, it's okay. Since you're printing, you need to provide that password. So that's the way to run it. Now, if you have some encrypted things, you should have a master password, which is okay. This password is important for me. This might be my server name. This might be my server name, server credentials. So this no one should know. When I'm checking this file, this no one should be able to see. While running, it's okay. I have like Ansible is my default password. That's what. Right? It's that's how you encrypt the strings. And even if you do it and all, it's all. Similarly, you can encrypt the whole file. If you say like if you create a file. Okay, I have a file called a.yaml. I can look at this file. It has like I can open and look at this file. It has just one variable. So now I can encrypt this file. For example, this is the file where I store all my passwords. So I want to encrypt the whole file instead of each variable. So I can say Ansible vault encrypt a.yaml. This is the command. Again, it asks for a master password. I'm giving Ansible. So now it's encrypted. Let's try to look at this file a.yaml. It shows me something. It doesn't show any content. And I cannot run this until I provide this. So that's how. If you want to decrypt and see the content, you have to provide the password to decrypt. Ansible vault decrypt a.yaml. Then it asks for the password and it decrypts. Oops. Okay. So it's now decrypts the file. Now I should be able to look at it. If I want to update some things and all, I decrypt and then again encrypt. And you need a master password. Similarly, in the host file, anywhere you can put a variable and then encrypt it, all the password, and decrypt and run. So if you want to run it from TeamCity or sometime, always providing the password in command, asking for password is the right, but not the right way, right? You cannot ask the password. It's all automated there. So you can then provide a file with the password. What I did was, I have a pass file, more pass file. So I have I will create a file called vi ANSI pass. Oh, why is it not showing? And it has Ansible password. Okay. So now instead of always asking, I can say there is a password file, go check for it and run my playbooks. Ansible playbook encrypting dot minus vault password file ANSI pass. So now it picks the passwords from this file and then runs it. When you want to automate, you cannot ask for like input. So then you can create it a central password for ANSI and say like always use this to decrypt things and encrypt everything else and just use this. So that's Vault, basic. You can, there are like so many things that you can try it out and do it. And then make it all secure. Before you check in anything to get showing anything, you should all encrypt all the passwords and EC2 if you are using any other codes. You should secure. So that's Ansible Vault. As a company, you can have a central Ansible Vault server also. That's the basics. You can go into detail. If you want to change the password, you can do Ansible Vault key and it changes the password. These are the basic commands. After that, there might be more things once you understand the basics. So the next interesting topic, now we have seen simple things like create a copy things, install things from web, run the things and all. You have seen all those things. Right? Now you can also deploy machines using Ansible. They have a lot of modules for anything that you want to try out, like VMs or EC2 or Docker. You can do that using Ansible. They have modules. You don't have to write a lot of code. You just call that module. And you can do that. So let's see how to do it. I just gave 2 examples. This is same for anything, like VM or anything. They have a module. You just have to call that module. It does the work. So EC2, you need Boto and Boto3 installed. So again, use the package managers like YAML or pip or whatever works for you to install this. This is like the SDK, Amazon SDK for Python. This is how it connects to the EC2 instance. So you just have to go there and say like YAML install Boto or Boto. Boto3 is the latest. I should have that already. So it's still, yeah. Oops. If YAML is not able to find, you should try other things like pip. Sometimes pip is the Python one, right? So requirement already satisfied. I have Boto3, so nothing to do. You need a AWS account and a API user to create this. So AWS gives you like a 1 year free account if you want, if you're okay to work with the micro instances. So you can create an instance. This is my AWS account. You can create an account and you need to create a API user. So I have like in one of my project, I have written it down how to create a AWS API user. You can just go through README, that's all. It says like how to create the AWS user. Once you have the AWS user, you can directly create instances, start, stop, directly create instance, or from templates you can do, however, what is according to your requirement. For this session, I'm just showing you how to create the instance directly from EC2 that I'll show. It's launch EC2. So when you create an API user, it gives you an access key and secret key. These are my access keys and secret keys. And using that, you just have to provide the instance type and the region. It's all like it's all available there. When you create user, it gives you this two things. And the region also, it's like it shows which region and all. If you create it from the USH2 is my region. You can select a region and T2 micro. This is like the free instance, other instance AWS charges. Those are the only things that you need. And if I run this, I have two running instances here, three stopped instances, right? I will say Ansible playbook launch EC2. And let's refresh here, two running and three stopped, right? And out. So now it's three running. It's still initializing. It's doing the work there. Done here, so it should come up soon. So this is the third one that I created just now, the third instance. So it's that easy to create instance. To automate everything, you want to first create an instance, and then using Ansible playbook, you can install few things there and get it ready. Or like you can run automation scripts, all the things you can automate directly using Ansible. But then there are advantages if you are using Packer, Terraform, or CloudFormation that we'll talk in the later sessions. You can also achieve everything with Packer, Ansible. So now I have it running, right? Again, it should be running. I can also start stop instances, still initializing. I can similarly start stop. I just have to provide the instance ID. Okay, before this, how do you get the data? So in the first session or second session, I talked about gather facts, right? Whenever you connect to a remote machine, you can gather all the facts of that machine, like what is the OS it's running, what is the IPv4 address, IPv6, all it gathers like 30, 40 parameters. Similarly, for the EC2 also, it can gather facts. So I have a script to gather EC2 facts. Again, I have to give my access key and provide details and run this Ansible playbook. And it goes and says, it gets all the details. How many instances do I have? What are the details, whether they're running or not? All the details of my Amazon instance. And then I can pick from here the instance ID and I can like start stop things. So to automate everything, if you want to first get the details of the instance ID and then pick one instance ID, start it, stop it, all those details. Previously we created this, then I can gather fact, get this instance ID, and then I can start, stop things there, all automated. So that's when you use gather fact. So once you gather the facts, you know it, you can pass it on to a start stop script using a variable. Now I hard coded for everything to make it easy. I just provide the instance ID and say like stop. Okay, 08882, I have it. I think it's the 135. So I will start. I'm starting this instance. The last one 0888. I can stop one of the running instance 087. So 0D7, I'm stopping. And the last one, 888, I'm starting. D7 should stop and 88 should start. This is stopping D7. That's what I said. D7 should stop. Present, absent. Okay, like it changed. Oh, sorry. Since it should be running, let me check. Maybe I did something. This has stopped. This didn't start. Something went wrong. So I'll run it again. It said, yeah, start. The first one stop said okay because it's already in stop state, and now it's trying to start that 888 one. Yeah, it's running now. 888 is started, so it should say like changed because it changed the state. This it didn't change, so it says okay. So those are the statuses. So it's that easy, and then you can write a play to push things and all the things. You can do a lot of things with that. Yeah, this is with EC2. Similarly, like Docker also. If you have, like, if you want to pull a Docker image from Docker Hub, you can pull it. But before that, you need Docker installed on your system. So again, the command yum install. You need community edition and the command line thing, C and CLI, two things. And then you should start the Docker. This is the prerequisites. And it's like Docker pull. You can use Docker pull commands, the commands to do all the operations. So I have Docker installed. If I say Docker, Docker images, I have two images running. No, I have two images, Tomcat and rest assured, something that I did. So if I can pull another instance if I want, I can using a pull, or I can search saying what instances. This is Docker. I can Docker search and say like, are there any Tomcat HTTPD Nginx server? Are there any containers for Nginx? So there are a lot of them. I can pull one of them. Nginx is there, directly the name. So I can say Docker image pull Nginx and then run, but I can do it from here, or I can do it from a, yeah. So I don't have Nginx. So what I'm doing is I have a module. Ansible has a module called Docker image. I'm saying pull the Nginx image and then start it. So present will start. I think. Let's see. Run this one playbook. Okay, now I got the third one, Nginx. Previously I have two images. Now I have the third image. So that's how you pull images from Docker, and you can do a lot of things there. You can create your own Docker image. I am not very familiar with Docker, but you can create your own Docker images and then start them and publish it to your repository. Now you pulled it. Maybe you have Artifactory where you publish first. So you can publish it into the Artifactory and then pull it from there. Or you can create your own Docker images. You have modules for all of them. So you can use that modules and you can do all the operations, all the required operations with Docker. You can work on it any way. And not just Docker, if you are using VMware, if you're using other kinds of VM infrastructures, for everything, you will find an Ansible module. We we work with VMware, and we do a lot of things. You can manage all. So that's this. So the last one, Ansible Galaxy. So someone asked me, the friend, Ansible Galaxy is like the repository, the repository for all Ansible roles. So we are creating things, but you can go to galaxy.ansible.com and you can find like there are thousands and thousands of repositories that you can find. You don't have to start everything from scratch. If you want to create like Nginx, I said like Nginx, right? You can search for Nginx repository if it's there to check like how to start with it, and then you can improvise it. You can take whatever you want and then do it, right? You have Nginx. So from the command prompt, I can say Ansible, just to know the exact name, I will search for Nginx. Searching, same thing as UI. You're going, I went to web, but here it goes and searches and shows. These are all the list I have for Nginx. So I can say like, okay, looks like there is something here. Let me pull this. Ansible Galaxy install. That I didn't know about Nginx. And it went and copied everything to this path. So let's go and check here. Add our Nginx. This is what it is, right? So let's go there. The exact structure that we talked about. It will have a Ansible.cfg, and then like all the tasks, handlers, defaults, files. It's structured the same way. Templates, molecules for testing that I didn't cover, but so we can go to tasks and say like what they do. So they have a main.ml. They are using the default one, and there are a lot of things that they're doing. So maybe you don't need all this. You just delete and say I only need install or like configuring the directories. You know, you can take that and you can copy it and start from that. You don't have to start coding everything from start. You just go. You can, if you want to understand how to structure, go to this and see like, okay, how do we structure the variables? Okay, as like variables. That's all. Does he have any defaults? What did he put in defaults? Why does he have the defaults? So if Nginx is not specifying any of this per second limit and all, it takes this default. If it's specified there, it doesn't come to this default. So you can, for an idea. So you can download anything, you can play with it to understand and copy what you need to start with. You don't have to write everything. And there are like thousands and thousands of projects here available. You can take them, you can search for them, you can take them and write almost everything that you want. You should be able to find. Covered like yeah. Yeah, I think I covered what like I want to do. Any questions, anything so far? Like this is like the basics. I'm not there like so many. I can have 3-4 sessions more to cover Ansible, but for now it's like this should be enough to start. If it's too much also, it might confuse you. So this should be enough to start things, and then you can research. It's all easy. It's like nothing rocket science there. Questions?
Srinivas, any file we specify what are the hosts that we need to send? You mentioned on the top like local host. If I want to push that to a remote machine, so is that the same place that we need to maintain? Whatever the host name?
So I'll open host. So this actually host is my file. I'm opening this. You should have a host file. If the file name is different, you will have an Ansible config file here. You just have to specify my host name is, this is the one. My inventory file name is inventory dot something, and it resides in some other place, not here. By default, this is the location it looks for. But if you're changing, you have to configure this variable in the Ansible.cfg. There are a lot more things that you can configure, but to start with, if you don't want to touch anything, work with like whatever the defaults are provided. Install Ansible, it will give you a default host file, it will give you a default Ansible.cfg file. You can start working. And in the host.dummy, you can group them. If you have only one host file, you can directly mention it. Or if you want to group them as web servers, by default, this is the structure it comes. I group them as servers. I have one host. You can have 10 hosts here. And like web servers, I have another one. And I said for servers, this is my connection parameters. And web servers, I can have a different connection parameters. I can specify all of them. And when you're writing your Ansible task playbook, just say act on servers, act on web servers, act on everything. So that way you have to. So here I just said act on servers, do this on servers. Similarly, I can say. Anything else, anything you want to hear in future sessions, anything you want to change? Like next session, what we are planning is show the Packer part. Packer is for imaging, create templates, and then Terraform is for like pulling instances. Then combine all this, use Ansible Packer, use Ansible Terraform, automate your whole site. That's the final thing. There can be more and more Ansible. If you have questions, we can have another session later, but this is the basics. You should be able to start. I'll copy all this into my GitHub repository if you want to try them out, play with them. And previous videos, Kaja already shared the things in the chat. That's where you can find. Okay.
Yeah, sure, Srinivas. I think this is very helpful. Maybe once I go through that session 1 and 2, I think it will make more sense.
Cool. Other questions? Okay.
Yeah, nothing from my side. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for attending Saturday morning. It's not easy. And stopping the recording now. Have a wonderful